my name is Mobetta Loretta, and I'm here because I'm one of the featured musical artists at the Raw Showcase in Riverside.
Wouldn't know the sun was shining in the scaling hole. Dust I breathe makes me ill. Gotta get some air somewhere somehow.
I started singing when I was just in high school. About 16 years old, I wrote my first song, and my father bought me my first guitar at a garage sale. And so I've always been one to write, so I started putting pen and paper to music, and I started writing my own songs. And so throughout college I kind of had different various bands that I performed with. And then after I graduated from college, I decided to take my career seriously because I figured I wanted to go out and venture on my own. So I became a solo artist, and I started just performing solo and playing my acoustic guitar, playing at small coffee houses and venues. And I've had the opportunity to live in several different states throughout the United States. So I've lived in New Mexico, is where I'm originally from, California. I went to North Carolina for a while, and I even went to Europe. I lived in Europe for 6 months. I lived in the Netherlands, and I toured all of Western Europe, and got to expose myself to a different language, to different people and culture. And I sang my songs on the street in a little town called Nijmegen, and it's 30 kilometers east of the German border. And I would play music there. I would just take my guitar out there, and I would busk for change on the streets, and take the train and travel all along Western Europe and just meet different people, and it was inspiring to write songs through my travels. Right now my inspiration is basically getting back to my roots. My album that I have is called Salt of the Earth, and it was based on my family history. My great uncle is named Juan Chacon, and he starred in a movie called Salt of the Earth, which was made in 1954. It was the first U.S. blacklisted movie ever because it was falsely linked to McCarthyism in 1954. And my uncle was the leader of the Union, and he fought for civil rights. And my aunt was also a very instrumental figure in the movie. And the songs that I composed are basically about them, their real life characters, and how strong they were, and the fabric of who they were that inspired them to fight for civil rights in a small mining town in Silver City, New Mexico. And so the songs are through the voices of either my uncle or my aunt, and some of the songs are actually through the voice of the company, who is kind of like the capitalistic, evil, greedy monster, but we have songs that actually portray their voice as well, like Company Grinch. There's some songs, like one is called Hey Main Street, that is depicting how capitalism is kind of taking over like the small man, and it takes advantage of the small worker and doesn't give them civil rights when they're just trying to make money at their company. lot of the songs are inspired by my family and the struggle that they had back in that town. And so right now it's relevant still because there's so many miners that still don't have really good working conditions. And then right now with the protests on Wall Street, with the recession, with people just angry because people are just, you know, taking the money and they're trying to fill their own pockets with big paychecks and everything. It needs to be known that the middle class needs to have a voice, and people actually that are poverty stricken too need to be represented. So that's what I fight for, is like the common person. I'm a folk singer basically. You know, I won Folk Artist of the Year at the LA Music Awards in 2006, and I won Folk Album last year at the Inland Empire Music Awards. So I'm basically known for being a folk artist, and folk artists tend to talk about current political issues, and they like to talk about things that are going on in society, and they talk about people, and they tell stories through their songs. So that's what I like to do. I like to tell stories through my songs, and basically it's just using my artistic creative vision through the music. And so I just pick up a guitar and then I write lyrics to it, and it just comes out. And so that's the best way that I can express myself. And if I don't do it, I'll just go mad. I have to express myself some way, so that's the way I do it. My current album was self-produced. I recorded it in a small independent studio in Riverside. I have an independent label called Mobetta Loretta Productions. So I'm doing everything basically on my own. I'm an indie artist, I'm an independent artist. What I would like to see happening in the future with my career is hooking up with some people, networking in a fashion that I could have more distribution, wider distribution, so I could reach a wider audience. I would like to do some touring and actually, you know, travel a little bit. We talked about doing small little tours on the West Coast, but it would also be fun to travel to other places. My husband is from New York City, and he knows a lot of people there too, so I would like to go to New York and play and just reach a broader audience. And right now I have a website, and I have my album available on Amazon.com and CDBaby.com and a bunch of different places. But a lot of people don't hear about indie artists unless you get that exposure. So one of the great things about the raw artists is that they help increase the exposure for all the local artists here in Riverside. And it takes money, it takes resources, and they have the networking ability, and they have, you know, the people that they're connected to help increase the exposure. And their website also has about 500,000 hits, and so that will also increase the artist exposure tremendously. So that's what I'm looking to do. That's why I hooked up with raw artists, because they could really help me on that level to increase my exposure. My name is Mobetta Loretta, and I am a raw artist.